They charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Good afternoon, fellow patriots. Welcome back to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. I'm Cash.
And I'm Lauren. How are you doing today?
Oh, fabulous. You know, it's a day where we get to talk about Bravo reality crime. So it's a good day.
Ooh, I just got the shivers.
How are you doing?
Oh my God. So fabulous. Like, this is my favorite thing to do. So yeah, I'm laying in bed with a drinkable yogurt and a cup of coffee, and I'm ready.
That might actually make me gag. A drinkable yogurt.
Oh, it's these Trader Joe's peach. Okay. I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but it's really tasty.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I'm glad you're having a healthy start to your day. I have
Thanks.
a kombucha.
Ooh, you
know,
too.
We have really laid off the seltzers, and I feel like we are letting Kelly down, but I think we're maybe trying to just
well, here, I have a sparkling water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
there's no alcohol in it, but
we're having mocktails.
Yeah. I was starting to break out. Can't have that.
And I was starting to get fatter.
Yeah. Me too.
My face was actually changing shape.
Stop.
Hilarious story though.
Okay.
So I told my boyfriend, I was like, oh, Lauren and I are getting ready to record. He goes, oh, and I was like, I got to put a bra on. He goes, why do you need to put a bra on for your radio show? And I was like, first, I have to sit across from Lauren when we Zoom. And second of all, radio show?
Radio show. Like, okay, old man. Like, what is he? What a gramps.
Oh my God. It was cute. It was so funny.
Love it.
Men. Okay. Should we, do you want to give some update?
Yeah, you're like, what are we even going to talk about? You guys,
why are we here?
We're here because we're going to end up telling you all about the Lisa Rinna of it all. So, like, just hold on a second, because we have a lot of other shit to say before we get there.
And
not
honestly, I feel like the other stuff is more important than Lisa Rinna's.
You could be right.
I think I am.
Okay, so first, let's give a little update on Erica.
Sure.
Okay. We just did an episode on her yesterday. So, which would be a week ago, really, for everybody listening. So, go listen to that. We did the whole updates of everything she's done through the month of August.
Well, it was really we did a full timeline recap, and then we also went through the amended the amended complaint that was filed by one of the trustees. And we also touched on all of the different things that were happening basically from June to present. Mm-hmm. And it's wild. It
was so wild because we did it where we compared it with what was actually happening on TV.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That made me even more Team Sutton than I already was. Cause I was like, yeah, this is fucking whiplash, Erica.
And I really, like I said, I really, really hope that Sutton read through that amended complaint before the reunion.
There's no way that Sutton Strack did not read that.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the reunion.
Okay.
There is one controversy over the seating chart. And then two, did you see who the two people that were hanging out together?
No.
Oh, Rinna and Erica Jane, because now they're BFFs.
Of course. I mean, Rinna and Erica Jane are just, there's a reason we're talking about them back to back. They're two peas in a pod.
Well, I have a comment about Lisa Rinna.
Okay.
Just as kind of a precursor of how I'm going to feel throughout our Rinna talk today, is that I believe that Lisa Rinna has always been so vocal and so adamant about holding people accountable. But if you notice, the only people she wants to hold accountable and rip into are kind of the outsiders or the not as popular, not popular girls like Denise Richards, Garcelle's. And then the moment when the drama is surrounding one of the popular main girls, she just shuts up, and now she's BFFs with them. And what did I write down? I wrote a note. She picks on the outsiders to stand with the popular.
Oh my God. So true. I'm really glad you wrote that down.
Profound. I know. But it really is like she doesn't want to be friends. Like she's too scared of Erica Jane. And she knows that if she doesn't stand by her side, and it's really frustrating. And
here's
she's
the
very
thing.
two-sided.
She's here. Not Erica. Rinna is all about like you said, holding people accountable, doing this, doing that. Yet every single year, what do we know about Erica? I mean, God, what is wrong with me? Rinna is that she shows up to stir the pot, which I love.
Makes her a great housewife.
She makes great talking heads, which is fabulous. And she keeps herself, though, very far away from everything. Like her storyline is always like her kids or stirring the pot. You know what I mean?
I lost my train of thought. And I'm actually I'm gagging that you're drinking that.
Oh, sorry. I'll stop.
Well, I think that Lisa Rinna is unhinged. You can cut all the rest of that out, but I think that she's completely. I think she's completely unhinged, and I think she's actually psycho.
Yeah,
because the way that she there's no normal person that laughs at themselves like that.
Oh, I know. Oh my God. You listen to Watch What Crappens?
No.
Oh my God. I'm fucking obsessed with them. They're so funny. They do the funniest interpretation or whatever you call it, imitation, of Lisa Rinna, and they always have her laughing so hard with that like gaspy laugh that she does, and it's so her. Like she's always like talking through a laugh and like being so.
It's because she doesn't have a personality. Like that is her personality trait, is she laughs at herself. Like she's so deeply insecure with who she is that she can't convey a point without chuckling or putting somebody else down. Like she's so insecure. But I do love her. Oh, this was what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that a housewife, because you were saying that she makes for great talking heads, she stirs the drama up, but it's questionable as to whether or not she's a good person.
Yeah.
Do you think our housewives have to be good people?
No.
Or do you prefer them to not be good people?
I don't have a preference, but I think I prefer a nice mixture.
Okay, I was going to say that.
Yeah, because or at least like I don't think any of these people are genuinely good people, but I think that they have like this naive veil across their face that they're not bad people. They're just like people that exist. You know what I mean?
But then you get the Aviva Dressers of the world who are bad housewives and bad people. I just don't like her.
You are not an Aviva fan.
Well, it's like Peggy. I shouldn't say that because I bet she's a nice person, but
lots of people.
No, I find Aviva Dresser to be one of the most annoying housewives ever.
She was pretty annoying, but you know what?
We got the leg moment.
Yeah, we got the leg moment. She made for really good TV. Okay, so let's give another update on Jen Shah. We are going to be recording.
I'm so excited.
Say it.
We are going to start recording little Patreon episodes, and we thought the best way to kick that off was to do recaps of Salt Lake City. And we generally give you guys Jen Shah updates regularly on the pod, but you never know. There might be some more in-depth analysis about Jen Shah.
Personally.
And sprinkled throughout our Patreon, as well as like recaps of the episodes, because we love watching the episodes. And sometimes that's not what this podcast was created for, was to recap episodes, because there are so many podcasts out there that do that already. And so we really wanted to focus on the legal drama, but we thought it would be fun to recap Salt Lake City as the Jen Shah drama was unfolding, and potentially give more in-depth recaps there.
Yeah.
So check it out. It should be up by the time this episode drops, because we will have our Salt Lake City episode out tonight.
So exciting.
I'm so excited. And the polls are popping off right now. If you guys are following our Instagram right now, people are being so funny.
So stay tuned, because I think that's going to be fun.
Oh my God. People are being so funny.
Good. Good. Okay. I can't wait to record it.
Okay, now let's talk about
Lisa Rinna's copyright issue.
Lisa Rinna. And I will just say, I don't think that this is the end of legal drama for Lisa Rinna.
Oh no, this in a totally different way though. You know?
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah.
Because this really isn't that big of a deal. Actually, you guys, if we do have a lot of new followers and probably a lot of new listeners,
Mhm.
we were the first ones to break the Lisa Rinna copyright lawsuit.
Mhm.
And at first, looking through it, we're like, oh my gosh, this is drama. But we're kind of in the early stages and there really isn't much happening. And I don't really see much.
No, and really,
happening.
like, I have to say, I'm on Lisa Rinna's side. Well, you know what? I'll save it for the end.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about Lisa Rinna's copyright issue.
Okay. So do you want to start off? Let us know what's happening.
Yeah. So I think first I'll tell you what a copyright is. So a copyright is something that protects original works that are fixed in a tangible medium. So this means like something that someone creates that's like not just a thought, you know, it like actually came to life. So like an owner can license what?
It's like Kylie Jenner, like her beauty line.
Right, exactly. Like
how the Kardashians literally copyright everything.
Everything. Okay,
Which
so
is smart.
it is smart. The owner can license the use of the work, which means like let somebody do something with it. But it's usually for a fixed period of time or it's for a specific right, unless it's a complete license.
So you'll have generally like licensing agreements. I'm trying to think of an example, like Disney partnering with
like Taylor Swift for the song that went in that trailer.
Yeah, or you know, like Marvel partnering with Samsung for like a new phone. Marvel, they can enter into a licensing agreement where Samsung can use Marvel's like, you know, copyright and
like
Marvel
kids'
can use
toothbrushes.
Samsung. Exactly. Like Colgate can enter into an agreement with Marvel to create and use their copyrighted images for, and there's a licensing agreement that goes into it. So then they are attributed like a certain amount of the revenue that comes from the product.
Mm-hmm. And like this is basically saying like when Colgate and Marvel like team up and there's a license going on, Colgate only can use a very certain specific thing in a very certain specific way. So it's not like now Colgate can go taking the toothbrush and actually putting the same picture on the toothpaste. Like, no, that would have to be incorporated into the agreement. Yeah. So generally the owner of a copyright has the right to reproduce the works. So like make the copies if they want, like burn a CD of their own thing, make derivative works, which is like, you know, altering it a little bit, you know, compiling more onto it, distribute copies by sale or by giving it away or whatever, perform the work publicly, like if it's a song, or display it publicly in some other way. So here, Black Grid is saying that they had, so that's what a copyright is. And so the people who are privy to this case are Black Grid and Lisa Rinna.
So Black Grid's the plaintiff, Lisa Rinna's defendant.
Right. And Black Grid is self-proclaimed in the complaint one of Hollywood's largest celebrity photograph agencies that owns the property rights to photo licenses that have been licensed to TMZ, Entertainment Tonight, New York Post, People Mag, Huffington Post, Daily Mail, etc. And then they say that they've sold a lot of their photos for consideration of up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay, which is true. And this is where, you know, you said you were like you're kind of leaning on the side of Lisa Rinna. This is one of the issues I see with this lawsuit. So they're saying they've entered into these licensing agreements with these different publications. And they were sold for valuable consideration. You know, who knows, like a photograph of Kim Kardashian pregnant. They sell it to the HuffPost publishes it.
Yeah, $100,000 to put it in their magazine.
And don't forget, though, people are paying HuffPost to access that article.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a public platform where Lisa Rinna is, people are not paying to go on Lisa Rinna's Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the photographs that Lisa Rinna were being used to promote ads or promote products that were bringing in any type of revenue.
Where did she get the photo from?
Google, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if it's already on the internet, like chill out, like get it from the source. Like it's not like she went to Blackgrid, took the photo and put it on her Instagram. I mean, maybe she did. I don't know. We need more information.
Yeah. And this gets into a great, well, and I might be getting this confused, but there are some issues where you have copyright infringements, but then you also have things like misappropriation of likeness where companies can use like a photo of Kim Kardashian, so like Etsy accounts that use the photograph of Kim Kardashian's face or a specific image where they're misappropriating and using her likeness to garner money and garner value for their company. She can oftentimes they can go after these companies because they're using their likeness for profit. And here I just have a hard time with it because it's a photo of her.
I know.
Like I understand that the image itself is copyrighted, but I just have a hard time with it because it's an image of her and she's not using it to promote or bring value.
Right. She was just like
company.
Putting it. So the photos in question are like her walking arm in arm with like Delilah or one of them. And then it's hard because they're wearing masks and sunglasses. So it's her arm in arm with a daughter and Harry Hamlin arm in arm with a daughter. And she goes, #family thriving even after I fucked him up. Laughing emoji. And so it's like, this isn't doing anything other than being like, look how cute we look leaving whatever they're leaving in the parking lot.
Well, and so when was this photo? You said it was taken and published. You said they're wearing masks. So obviously 2020.
Yeah. During the pandemic. I don't know when it was taken. I didn't write that down.
Because I did see other photographs. Like there was one of Lisa Rinna holding onto a guy with Kyle Richards. And she goes, I just posted it because I thought it was cute or we looked cute or something. And I want to say she posted that in like 2020, but the photographs from 2018, like the copyright, like the copyrights are from 2018.
Yeah. So that's why we'll get into the affirmative defenses too. But it's like, they're all pictures of, there's one where she reposted a meme that at Bravo and Bachelor posted that said, how I think I look running errands in athleisure versus how I actually look running errands in athleisure. Yeah. And it's like Lisa Rinna. And they're even getting her for that. And it's like, obviously don't get the meme creator, but don't get anyone for it. Like, it's not even a cute picture.
I just want to know how they calculate damages related to this copyright. Because like I said, if they're using, say you're selling, we're back to the Marvel toothpaste thing or toothbrush thing.
Yeah.
So Colgate unlawfully uses Marvel on their toothbrush. Then they sell 1 million toothbrushes and they make $1 million.
Right.
Marvel can come after them for that $1 million. Right. Right. That's the actual damages as a result of misusing the copy, like unlawfully.
So I think they would have to prove. Then I think Blackgrid would prove that they could have sold these photos to TMZ, Huffington Post, whatever, for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But instead, but they didn't. Exactly.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, you could have done that. And she would have then probably she would have still posted it. I think you have to look at her Instagram account and see if she had acquired any users as a result of those photos, if any of those users.
It would be so hard to prove this. I mean,
that's why I think we talked about in the last episode of what we think is going to happen. And I think that it's going to settle for out of court for attorney's fees.
Yeah. Well, so they say that Lisa Rinna owns and operates her Instagram. And they said that she had uploaded these photos and they had the Blackgrid copyright. And it's like, okay, well then she gave you copyright credit. Like she's not claiming ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, because she left on the bottom left-hand corner of all the photos.
Yeah. But I guess it's because she wasn't permitted to reproduce them.
Well,
and then
and-
she said that they said that this caused her followers to share the photo and multiply the harm to Black Grid, which is why they included that meme.
Question, are these posted on her story or on her Instagram?
So there was like a lot of from a mixture of both.
Okay.
There were a couple that were from her story and a couple that were just from her Instagram.
I just wonder how you value the stories.
I know. Like, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 8 are stories and 1 is of the grid.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, chill, bruh.
Okay, so question for you. Did the paparazzi company notify Rinna before they filed the complaint? Because a lot of times in California, you have to send a demand letter before you file any complaints with the court because, we don't want to clog those court dockets.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Black Grid said that they sent a demand letter before the suit, but Rinna was like, I'm not taking them down. Like, it is what it is. And it's like, also their stories. They were only up for 24 hours. Like, you're making a way bigger deal about it. Also, something that I thought was funny was that Lorena is the one who accepted the service.
Who's Lorena?
Her housekeeper, who remember was like the one who was like, when she first had the rat and she was like telling Lisa Rinna about it.
Wait, that house has a housekeeper?
Yeah, Lorena.
Interesting.
Stop. That was so shady.
Do you know that Lisa Rinna said the only reason why she's not updating her kitchen in her house is because Harry Hamlin doesn't want her to? So then my question to her is, why haven't you updated anything else?
Well, why won't Harry Hamlin let her update it? I'm confused.
Because he likes the kitchen and he likes the way it is. And I will defend Harry Hamlin in that it's his kitchen. She doesn't cook. But
there you go. That's
something else. Then. But it's like, what's up with the garage? What's up with the garage?
Okay. I am so over, like, thank you for bringing this up. I'd like to be heard. I am so over being in Lisa Rinna's fucking garage, watching her daughters try on her old clothes. It's like, yeah, we all do that.
No, but what I don't understand is like, why I like, cool that you have all these designer gowns, but it's like, they're in your garage with like chainsaws and tools and oil stains on the cement.
And like with all the fucking bleach and toilet paper that Harry Hamlin, panic bought before any of us could get any.
Yeah, it's not.
Thanks a lot, Harry.
Well, and it's not what we want to see out of our housewives.
Mm-mm. Bring it inside. They're your daughters, for God's sakes. Bring it inside. Like, give us a cute fashion show, not like let's hang out in the garage.
Yeah, go into that beautiful backyard they have.
With the guy from fucking Love Island. No.
I know. Yeah.
Go inside, turn on the heat, make him take off his shirt, and give us a show.
Give us what all the viewers want.
Right. This is why, come on. This is the only reason we care about him even being on the show,
Okay.
Okay. So then Lisa Rinna filed her answer and it had her affirmative defenses, and there are a ton. So tell us about this. So
we did get a question from one of our followers on Instagram asking if it was normal for a defendant to assert this many defenses. Because she's asserted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 defenses. And the answer is yes, because if you don't assert them, you lose them. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times defendants will assert, like, throw the book at, what's it called? Like, throw the book at the wall.
Yeah, like throw it all, like,
is that the saying? Yeah, throw the book at the wall.
Yeah, I think sure. It sounds right. Yeah.
And so you'll
do it all.
They do it all because they don't want to lose out on their defenses, because if you don't assert them, like I said, you'll lose them. So
use it or lose it, baby.
Use it or lose it. So one of the first defenses is she says, hey, look, Black Grid, you failed to state a claim, meaning mm-hmm. there's no sufficient facts to state a cause of action. And you know what I'm surprised is that they did not file a demur.
Maybe it's coming. I bet they have to meet and confer a couple of times.
So a demur is basically a motion that you file with the court saying there are no sufficient facts anywhere in the four corners of this complaint to assert a cause of action. So on that, the court should dismiss.
Plus, I don't know if it's past the time to amend any of these.
Well, I thought you had to file a demur before you file a complaint, or sorry, an answer in California, but I may be mistaken. Okay, and then the second one defense that they're saying is there's no proximate cause, meaning, but for this action, the damage would not have occurred.
Yeah.
You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So they're just basically, Lisa Rinna's saying like, there's nothing that she did that if she didn't do it, the image wouldn't have been out on the internet. Like, but if she hadn't acted, the same result would have happened.
Yeah.
Is what Lisa Rinna's saying.
And so the third one is statute of limitations, which is the most common, if not always asserted defense in every single answer that's filed. They're saying, hey, look, you brought this cause of action too late. Sorry, you missed out. And so there are civilly and criminally, there are different statute of limitations for crimes and different claims. I'm trying to think of an example of one.
Like say,
so petty, criminally, petty theft, it's a misdemeanor crime in the state of California and has a 1-year statute of limitations.
Yeah.
So you have to file it before the 1-year date. And so, whereas a lot of civil claims and like medical malpractice, for example, it's when you knew or should have known that this
issue happened.
Issue occurred. And so let's see. So for a Copyright Act, it's a 3-year statute of limitations.
So yeah, for like the 2018, 1920.
Yeah.
21.
And so she may win on that. I don't know. I haven't really looked closely at those. Like I said, the timestamps I saw on them, but it would have been from the date she posted. And you said that she posted them as early as 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know necessarily she win on that. Okay. And then we go into like the fun ones that remind me of law school and remedies and things that I never wanted to study ever again.
Or that being about. So skip.
Well, they're kind of, it's latches and unclean hands. So latches is basically this defense that there's been an unreasonable delay in asserting the claim, like they waited too long. And for that, the matter should be dismissed. Unclean hands is conduct that violates the conscience, meaning good faith or other equitable standards of conduct. Honestly, it's boring.
I know, so boring.
So boring.
And then they did
failure. This one's fun though.
Failure to mitigate damages.
Yes, I find this one to be the most fascinating.
Okay, talk about it.
Because they're saying you did not mitigate the damages that they led, so they didn't try to recoup the cost, correct? Yeah, so failure to mitigate is fascinating to me because it puts somewhat of a duty onto the plaintiff. And it says, hey, look, like, yes, this may have happened, but did you why do I keep wanting to call him Big Grid?
I don't know. But it's Black Grid.
Yeah. And so the court will look at Black Grid and say, hey, look, like, yes, this may have occurred, but did you do everything reasonably possible to try to mitigate or try to lessen the amount of losses and keep the losses from getting worse? And the court could still find Lisa Rinna responsible for this and, file a judgment against her. But then when it comes to actual restitution or damages, the court will look to see if there was any mitigation of damages and say, hey, look, like, you knew that this post was put up the day, like going to her Instagram post, say, like, you knew that she posted this on January 1st of 2019. And now you're waiting until June 7th of 2021 to file this. Like, so what were you doing in the meantime to try to reduce any financial fiscal losses that you would have suffered?
Right.
And so the courts will look at that and they could potentially reduce the damages down significantly if Black Grid didn't act reasonably. So it kind of shifts this duty and puts a duty, and it holds people responsible and it holds people accountable, and it makes sure that people aren't, sitting on litigation,
like to accrue damages and
to accrue damages.
Yeah.
So one of the affirmative defenses is waiver. And I
Mhm.
looked up I keep calling it the CalCrim. It's the Cassie jury instructions. And so I'm going to read it. So what it says, these are the elements that you have to prove in order to assert this affirmative defense. So in order to succeed, Lisa Rinna must prove both of the following by clear and convincing evidence, which is the burden in civil cases. So she has to prove that Black Grid knew Lisa Rinna was required to not post the photos on her
Mhm.
Instagram account, and that Black Grid freely and knowingly gave up its right to have Lisa Rinna perform this obligation.
By letting
And
it sit there.
Yeah, so the waiver may be oral or written, may arise from conduct that shows that Black Grid gave up that right. And so if Lisa Rinna proves that Black Grid gave up this right, Lisa Rinna's performance of posting on her Instagram account, then Lisa Rinna was not required to perform any obligations. And so it says that waiver is the intentional relinquishment of a known right after knowledge of the facts. The waiver may be either expressed based on the words of the waiving party or implied based on conduct indicating an intent to relinquish that right. Thus, California courts will find waiver when a party intentionally relinquishes a right or when the party's acts are so inconsistent with an intent to enforce the right as to induce a reasonable belief that such right has been relinquished.
Okay, so I went a bit cross-eyed, but I think it's just saying like you should have said it earlier, and because you didn't, it kind of gave permission and constructively by Black Grid not interfering earlier. And so they've waived their right to bring the claim, according to Lisa.
So it says, like when the injured party, this would be Black Grid, with knowledge of a breach continues to accept performance from Lisa Rinna, such conduct may constitute a waiver of the breach. So that goes to like maybe them having knowledge that this was posted,
not telling her to take it down the second they knew or should have known,
and not acting on it. So the burden would fall on the party claiming the right. So that would be Lisa Rinna to prove by clear and convincing evidence that does not leave the matter to speculation, and doubtful cases will be decided against a waiver. And so waivers are ordinarily a question for the trier of fact, and the trier of fact is the jury. So they would be the ones to determine whether or not this affirmative defense would apply.
Right. And then she also brought the affirmative defense of estoppel. She's basically saying that they shouldn't even be allowed to bring this claim up because Black Grid is clearly like acting in bad faith. And Lisa Rinna's accusing Black Grid sort of setting up celebrities to be photographed in public and then publishing the pictures so that these celebs will repost them. And then Black Grid can sue the celebrity that did that and make money during COVID.
It's like entrapment.
That's exactly what Lisa Rinna is saying. Like, you're doing entrapment. And so I looked it up because I was like, well, then who else like could these people be doing this to? You know, like you'd have to kind of prove that, right?
Yeah.
And so I just picked 3. They sued Justin Bieber for this same exact thing. Radar Online, which I can totally understand because they're like actually kind of a news place, you know, so they should actually get a license. And Christina Milian, among others.
Wow.
So they really are, you know, it seems like Lisa Rinna's kind of right. Like they're setting these people up with photos of themselves and then suing them for using them on Instagram. And it's like, shouldn't you be kind of excited that I don't know. I don't want to say that. And then fraud, there's Lisa Rinna saying that Black Grid shouldn't be able to receive damages or, you know, from Lisa Rinna because they engaged in the fraud of like setting people up just to sue them, which I find interesting. And Unclean Hands, the same thing regarding damages.
Yeah. And
the fraud, obviously.
Let me go back and just to clarify with Unclean Hands. So the law requires those coming into the court seeking justice to do justice themselves. This concept is called clean hands. So the law says that no one can take advantage of his or her own wrong. If you believe the plaintiff has taken advantage of his or her own wrongdoing in relation to the lawsuit, you may raise this defense. As to lashes, the law requires people to act promptly to enforce their rights. If the plaintiff waited a long time to file a lawsuit without having a good reason for the delay, that delay has made it harder for you to defend the case. This defense would apply to Lisa Rinna. And then for waiver, and so I'm reading this, and this is from the court's website, that waiver and estoppel oftentimes are very closely related.
Mm-hmm.
So they're based on the concept that if someone says one thing but does another, he or she may be held to what was said first.
Mm-hmm.
So the law requires or recognizes that people may rely on promises or statements in choosing how to act. If the party that makes the promise changes his or her mind, it could hurt the party who relied on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the plaintiff told or promised you something regarding the money you are being sued for, and you relied upon that statement or promises, but plaintiff failed to honor it, those defenses may apply to you.
So it would be like they kind of never gave Lisa Rinna the first warning. They let her post the first photo, leave it up, and then post the second photo, leave it up, post the third photo. They never, it seems like
which could be potentially an implied waiver.
Exactly. So Lisa Rinna would, maybe be acting on the assumption that, hey, this is totally fine. That is, we don't have any of those other documents, so we don't even know if that happened or didn't happen.
Correct. Okay, so I think that's it for her answer. But then after the answer was filed, there was something that was filed by the court in response.
Exactly.
And what was that?
Everyone probably remembers that when, I don't know, a week or two ago, attorney Ron Richards posted on his Twitter that he thought that this answer would be dismissed by the clerk because it's unreadable. And that's because it's kind of fucking blurry.
Super blurry.
And whenever you file things with the clerk of the court, like you do it electronically.
There's so many rules.
There's so many rules, and you have to enter it into this database basically. So you have to pick the right heading, and there's all these different selections. And if you get it wrong or you file it under the wrong heading, and sometimes it's so easy to file it under the wrong heading because it'll be like answer B, answer for civil. And you're like, fuck, this is civil, but it's also an answer, and it's like panic inducing.
It's so like a bar exam. It's like a bar exam multiple choice question.
Literally, like, I think I'll probably pass the bar exam because of my e-filing skills. But so basically, like the clerk, whoever's, on the other side of the computer, reviews the document, makes sure that it is acceptable, like visually, first of all, because the judge has to read it. Like, it's now public. It needs to be readable and legible. And it has to follow the rules of court, like both locally and like statewide, and here federally. So, if it's on the wrong type of paper or has the wrong numbers or whatever, they can reject it and be like, this is deficient, fix XYZ. So they did that to Lisa Rinna's answer, the clerk, and they said, hey, this is deficient because you filed this under the incorrect heading, because she actually had a duplicate, like whoever filed it twice. And it's like, that can happen so easily, like just attaching the wrong document when you're attaching so many things. So instead of filing a title page or a notice of interested parties, she filed the answer twice on accident. So she fixed her deficiencies. She filed the notice of interested parties. She filed the title page. She got rid of the extra answer, and everything's fine now. But I didn't see that it was rejected for being blurry, but I kind of feel like it should have been.
So are you saying Mr. Ronald Richards was wrong?
He was incorrect in his prediction.
Wow. And that's what we're here at Allegedly Bravo to do.
Mm-hmm. Just say who's incorrect and who's not.
Yeah.
Based on our opinion.
Yeah. And never acknowledge when we're wrong.
Exactly. Okay. What are your final thoughts? Like, whose side are you on? Where do you see this going? You kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, I talked about it at the beginning. I'm on Lisa Rinna's side. I don't really see it going anywhere. There was another filing that had been filed with the court or by the court to both parties saying that there's requirements in Los Angeles County that the parties have to participate in mediation or or arbitration.
Mhm.
And so it's most likely that this is going to settle outside of court. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if we're really going to get much of an update. We'll see. I don't know if they'll file the settlement under seal or if they will file it and make it public, but I'm assuming it's going to go attorney's fees and that's going to be it.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Rinna is going to agree to take the photo down.
And it's like they were stories. So like, okay, remove the meme. Cool. Good job.
Yeah.
I hope it was worth it.
What do you think?
So I'm totally like, I read Lisa Rinna's answer. And if I had to make the judgment based on the piece of paper in front of me, I would have found in favor of Lisa Rinna just based on my feelings right now. You know, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, like don't be taking pictures of people out in public and then getting upset when they repost them to their story. Like you're out in public and it's not even like they maybe even knew that, unless Lisa Rinna called the paparazzi to have them there and then stole the photo.
Yeah.
But that didn't seem like the accusation here.
To me, paparazzis are very strange and I don't understand them in the 21st century. I think it's so weird and creepy and it fuels this obsession. And it's so, I understand that celebrities have, you know, agreed to be a part of the public eye, but it's like to be followed and harassed and be yelled at and have cameras flashing in your face. It's an odd obsession that I'm not a fan of. Like,
I think about it, like I always like cringe because it's like, even when you go to the grocery store, you know, and you see someone like from high school or whatever, and they like say hi to you out of the middle of nowhere. And then you're like, oh, I have to talk to this person. Fuck, I don't really want to do that. I cannot imagine that on the level of like, now I have to smile for these people. And like, now, like I'm going to be in the magazine, you know, I just like, it must be amplified so much worse. And I'm incapable of living that way.
Well, and something that bothers me too, it's kind of similar, I guess, to paparazzis following celebrities or just taking intrusive photos, is people like private citizens who videotape or record just general members of the public and then post them and send them to these Instagram pages and then they go viral.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen those videos of people like at the gym working out and they fall off the treadmill and then Barstool Sports posts it and now you're a laughing stock.
Right. Like, but they are funny.
They are funny. They are funny, but I always think like, could you imagine?
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
Huge fear. That's why I'm loving mask season and I will continue mask season because you will never see my face when I slip and fall and it gets caught by paparazzi. Okay. Photos are worthless.
Okay. So I think that's it for Lisa Rinna. We'll give you guys an update. It will probably just be a short update at one of our other episodes. Because I can't imagine much is going to happen from this. But before we leave, do you have any criminal behavior?
I do. Okay. So me and George Glass and I went out to dinner. We were like, oh my God, let's treat ourselves like cute date night, whatever. So I picked like a fancy Italian place. I was like, cool, like she cute. Curl my hair, makeup. Get there. Okay. We order for appetizers a burrata and heirloom tomato salad thing or like starter. It said starter and it said served with bread. And so we were like, cool. It was $26. It had 3 pieces of prosciutto, 3 tomatoes, and 1 ball of burrata, which fine. But I used to sell burrata like in a fancy cheese store for like $11. And so I know you mark that up like times 4 and tomatoes aren't that expensive. But anyway, regardless, it was so good. Like I didn't care because like burrata is just good. But they brought it out and I go, oh, where's the bread? You know? And the guy goes, oh no, we don't do it with the bread anymore. And I was like, okay. And George Glass is like, just we'll pay for the bread, like whatever. Yeah. It costed $4 for 4 little baguette toasties of bread. So our $26 ball of burrata ended up being $30.
You could have made that for $5 at home.
Oh my God. Or at least 15.
That's insane.
And then, so my criminal behavior is like, I'm sorry to say this to all of you, but if you are serving cheese, I'm telling you, you need to serve a vehicle for the cheese and just a tomato is not enough. You need to provide a sturdy vehicle for the cheese, like a baguette.
Yeah. And there needs to be something to scoop.
I know times are tough, babes, but they ain't that tough.
Yeah. It's not that hard to slice a baguette and throw it on the plate.
And that's where I'm also coming from. Like with, I guess I have another one charging for sides of ranch. Fuck you.
Oh, I know. Or just
Fuck
sides of
you.
Or how about this? Remember that restaurant we used to go to in San Diego where
I
they
am
did it?
so triggered.
You guys, they did not serve ketchup. And it was a cheeseburger place. And my boyfriend and I went there before you and I went there. And we looked at each other and we were just absolutely shocked that they didn't have ketchup. I mean, the burgers are so good.
Oh
though.
my God. And it's like, yes, okay, sure. I'm going to still eat there all the time. But like, fuck you. Knock it off. Okay, what's yours?
My criminal behavior is another Peloton related incident is when the instructor is just on a different level than you are. And, you know, when you're waking up on a Saturday morning in hopes of, you know, just getting a little cardio workout in and they're just on acid and way too hyper.
Yeah.
And they're way
what
too
class
inspirational.
Was it?
I don't want to put the instructor on blast.
Yeah.
But she was just
a little too vibrant for a little Saturday morning.
Yeah. And it's like, don't describe my sweat as sparkles.
So you weren't in the spirit that the instructor was in?
Absolutely not. No.
So conflicting.
And there's nothing worse because it makes you want to just like, I wanted to reach my hand through the screen and flicker off the bike.
Yeah. And then you're just going to be in a mood all day.
Yeah. I mean, while the endorphins were running after the class, you know, felt great, like did everything and was extremely productive and read a book, but it just, that energy level is, and it's like, you know, the instructors are a size 0 and
hot, super
hot, not sweating.
So George, it's too much
frustration.
It's too much. George Glass and I did yoga poses, like, cause we're like, you know, I'm like, well, let's do yoga. Like it's cute. So, we did this class on downward facing dog and it was so sexual. Like
we're not
the woman was like being a little over the top.
Oh, you're saying the instructor was being sexual.
Yes. Yes. And we were both like, oh, okay. Like not ready for it, you know? And
like Karma Sutra.
He was like, is it just me or is this woman like really into it? And I was like, she's really into it. And then, he wanted to do another one immediately after. And then fucking this morning,
he's out there doing it.
I go out there and he goes, want to do one of those Peloton yoga classes together this morning? I was like, bitch, you can watch it.
Yeah, if you want to just watch Ariel on the yoga screen, that's
go ahead.
It's like that one time my boyfriend tried convincing me he really wanted to watch this Real Sports episode on HBO about the Sherpas in Mount Everest. Well, the Real Sports is like 60 minutes where there's like 3 different stories within the 60 minutes. The biggest story was about cheerleaders in the NFL. And they're like these like tiny little girls just like feet bopping around with like their
cute. Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, I was like, oh, is there a reason why you were so adamant about watching the Sherpas?
I know. I'm like going to be going out there and he's going to be like doing the splits and like full like Warrior 3 or something.
They're so special. Anyways.
All right. Well, buy our merch. www.bonfire.com/store/allegedlybravo-store. And I'll try to work on that.
It's sweater weather. You need a sweatshirt. Get one.
Need a good sweatshirt.
They're so comfy.
So comfy. Oh my God. I love mine.
All right.
And then follow us on Instagram at Allegedly Bravo and check out our website, www.allegedlybravo.com. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.